my mother was an artist. And so I grew up drawing from, the time I could hold a pencil. And my mother was kind of a funny person because she was very insecure and she did these beautiful things, but all of her sketches were always really great. I always loved them actually more than her finished drawings. But she was always enamored of the things that I did because I was a kid and I was unself-conscious and I would just make things. And I think that was something that she wished she could do. And, I actually wound up kind of going through her stuff. She died about 15 years ago, and I inherited all of her stuff, kind of unfinished drawings, unfinished paintings. Anyway, I wound up going to architecture school. And in architecture school, we were encouraged to keep a sketchbook. And as I started to teach, I started to make my own sketchbooks. And I started to teach my students how to do that. It just became something very personal, where you could decide what kind of paper you want. You could decide what the format was, what size it was, the cover, everything about it was your own choice. And so that actually worked out to be a thing that I've done ever since. I really like the kind of personal quality of being present. And that's the other thing about sketchbooks, about sketching, is that if you're drawing something from observation, you have to sit there and really absorb what it is that you're looking at. Whatever your observations are in that moment will appear on the page. When I look at a drawing that I made, I remember scents, I remember sounds, I remember being there, who I was with, things like that. Even if I haven't really recorded that, it becomes a real memory device. I really value things that are kind of who you are at that moment, things that you do off the cuff without being self-conscious. And it's a very similar kind of connection, I think, to sketching, in that it's like breathing, it's like eating, it's like, things that are kind of the moment that we maybe don't value, but the big things happen every day. That's what makes your life, is those moments. And a sketchbook is something that you're not fretting about, like a finished drawing where it has to be, this, and it has to be perfect. Perfection is not that interesting to me. I would much rather see some weird quirky thing that you didn't expect that emerges, and then you could do something with that. The life is complicated and weird, and and relationships are weird and complicated, and if you can kind of reveal some of that in your sketching, you're showing what life is, and that's pretty cool. So